Hi, my name is Arthur and welcome to Celestial Wellbeing. I've decided to start a series on words because I find there's a lot of magic around words, and words can create, can uncreate. In fact, really, if I really think about it, that's all they do is create. And words aren't just words that we throw around or just a means to communicate. Words are spells, yeah? And when we're at school, we're taught how to spell, and we're taught spelling. We're casting spells constantly. So think about that. The first word I've chosen to work with is this word, responsibility. I really don't like this word. I think this word creates a lot of stress without even knowing it. So let's do a little experiment. So if you just spend a moment and just thinking about all the things you're responsible for, everywhere in your life where you have responsibility, around work, around your family, around friends, around family, financial. Think about all these things that you have a responsibility towards. If I had you all here, I'm sure 90% of you would probably put your hand up if I was to ask you if it makes you feel heavy. Some people might be okay with that, and that's fine too. For me, I'm on the heavy side. My mind goes crazy when I think about how many things I have a responsibility towards. But the funny thing is, if I remove this word, I'm still going to do the things that I feel are important. I'm still going to look after my family. I'm still going to look after my finances. I'm still going to work. I'm still going to do the things, I'm naturally born to do. And in some cases, naturally born to not do, but we have to do because we have a responsibility to do them. Yeah? So I don't like this word at all. And I'm finding just the sound of the word, responsibility. So the first thing I don't like about this word is this I, right in the middle of the word. If we remove that and recreate the word responsibility, do you have the ability to respond to things? Are you able to respond to certain situations? Are you able to respond rather than react to a situation? Or are you always going to be in responsibility mode? Are you always going to throw responsibility out to other people? Something occurs, well, we need to make somebody responsible for that. Who's responsible? Is it my responsibility? Is it your responsibility? That's really uncreative, and I don't see how this word can help you create. Same thing again with responsible. Are you responsible? Do you have the ability to respond? Are you able to respond to situations? Can you see how this word is a little twisted just from that one letter? That one letter I, that's changed the word completely. There's two very valid words, and this is really powerful. The ability to respond. The ability to respond, because responding is very different to reacting. Reacting is instantaneous. Responding takes a moment. Okay, this is how I feel. I didn't like what you said because blah, 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 blah. Whereas a reaction, straight away, you're into it straight away. You're going to verbally throw back, you're going to accuse, you're going to whatever, and it's all outward. Yeah? This word is a very outward driven word. If you can turn it to a personal responsibility towards yourself, then things become a little different. It has a different feel about it. But again, like I said, I don't like this word, and I'm trying to find ways to recreate the way I use words without using this word. If I'm late on my phone bill, oh, Arthur, you're responsible, blah, 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 blah. Well, hang on a minute, this and this and this has occurred, but I can do blah, 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 blah. Whatever the case may be, I'm using my ability to respond. Using my ability to respond rather than being told of my responsibilities. I know what my responsibilities are. I don't need somebody to tell me. So something to think about, something to really think about. And I encourage as many of you as you can to scrap this word and try and find more constructive ways of recreating such a word, because I do find, and I do believe, and these are my own personal opinions, I do believe that this word has purposely been created to always keep a heaviness on top of us. So, and I'm not saying it doesn't have its place, because it does, but it's a really small spot in the whole scheme of things. So yeah, so there you go. My word on responsibility, chuck it out the window. So I'm open to all feedback, and remember, these are my own personal opinions, and the more I learn, the more I'm going to share. Other words that I have in mind for future videos won't be anywhere near as heavy as this, and yeah, this word is very interesting. It's a very liquid, diverse word. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to hear any feedback, and thank you.
A decade earlier, psychologist Stanley Milgram had also looked at how we respond to authority. In order to understand how people were induced to obey unjust regimes and participate in atrocities such as the Holocaust, he set up an experiment. Volunteers were told they were taking part in scientific research to improve memory.
Would you open those and tell me which of you is which, please? Teacher. Where? Teacher.
Separated by a screen, the teacher would ask the learner questions in a word game and administer an electric shock when the answer was incorrect. He was told to increase the voltage with each wrong answer.
Cloud. Horse. Rock. House. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer. Horse.
Oh. Experiment. That's all. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, please.
Continue, please. Go right on.
I refuse to go on. Let me out.
Refuses to go on. The experiment requires you continue, teacher. Please continue.
Participants didn't know that the learner was really an actor and the so-called shocks harmless.
You're gonna get a shock. 180 volts.
Oh. I can't stand the pain. Let me out of here.
Can't stand it. I'm not gonna kill that man in there. I mean, who's going to take the responsibility if anything happens to that gentleman? I'm responsible for anything that happens here. Continue, please. All right, next one, slow. Walk, dance, truck, music.
Two-thirds of volunteers were prepared to administer a potentially fatal electric shock when encouraged to do so by what they perceived as a legitimate authority figure. In this case, a man in a white coat.
375 volts. I think something's happened to that fellow in there. I don't get no answer. He was hollering with less voltage. Can't you check in to see if he's all right, please?
Milgram's findings horrified America. They showed that decent American citizens were as capable of committing acts against their conscience as the Germans had been under the Nazis.